get anything. I just say it though, just to.
You're gonna remember me.
Because I remember them all, but I mean I don't hound anybody for it,
I'm gonna be the one
unfortunately.
guy that gives it to you.
Oh yeah, well if
That's
you
what's
if
gonna
you are,
happen.
I'll be like, wow,
I'll be at Snug Harbor one night.
that'd be
There you
hilarious.
go.
Yeah, like 20 years from now, and you're like, hey man, remember 90, 2008?
It'll be soon.
All right, we're rolling.
2028.
Okay. So, if you would, just tell me your name and spell it for me.
Oh, okay, Jesse McBride, JESSEMC capital BRIDE.
Great, thank you. And just want to get your permission to videotape this as well. This is going to be used.
Sure, videotape it, so long as I get a copy of it.
Excellent. Okay. And then first question is, so tell us about the first time you met Harold Battiste and what your impressions were.
I was walking to Ellis Marsalis' office to see who was around for the semester because I had noticed that one door wasn't open. And that door was actually open. So I poked my head in there, and there's a guy sitting at the desk kind of fiddling around with a saxophone and some stuff, and I just asked him, you know, how he was doing and who he was, because I think they'd even taken the nameplate off that door. But, and then, you know, we just started talking, and he asked me what I played, and just started kind of hanging out in the office.
And so when you finally did get to know him a little bit better, were you aware of all of the accomplishments that he had achieved?
Aware?
Yeah.
No, I mean, there's no way to know until you get to know the details of someone's life and what they've done. I mean, you see him as a professor, which already is, you know, an instantly respectable position, but no, you don't know. I didn't know all of the body of his work, or works in many various fields, whether it's, you know, the music business or the I guess the recording industry and the film industry and the jazz, and there's various layers if you want to really get to the details of it. So no, I had no clue.
And when you finally did understand all of that, his background and everything, how did that impact you?
I don't know. It wasn't an overnight kind of thing. It was a gradual kind of, you know, discovery. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to listen to some music and be a jazz musician, I guess. But, you know, as Bat would show you things about music, would tie a life lesson into that. But not in a, you know, Brady Bunch kind of way. It was just kind of, you know, here's a process in which you can use to get to an end. And you can apply this to music, and you can apply this to, you know, everyday things in life. So.
And what is the process? How does he teach that?
The best thing I would say is experience it while you can. I mean, it's hard to explain. I would say a good amount of study and gathering of information, and then I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's not good with words. I would say listen to recordings that he's done, and that will better explain his process because it's all in the actual music. You know, a lot of the songs that he wrote have like specific times, like "Soon We Will Be Together Again." You should ask him about that tune. Or Opus 43, the names of the songs and the what the reference was in the time that they were being written. Marzique Dancing.
Those are all songs.
Those are all his songs
that you really admire. And
well, those are songs that describe the process. You know, the creative process, and then I guess describes the musical. An example a musical example of whatever an Opus 43 meant to him, or Marzi dancing meant to him, or Alvietta's her name, or to Brownie. I mean, there's a, that's a Clifford Brown reference, but, if you listen to it, you'd be like, oh, to Brownie, well, that kind of makes sense. Well, that really makes sense.
And so, for a time, or maybe still now, I'm not sure, you were assisting him at AFO, right?
Assisting? Well, sure. I mean, it's hard to explain, I guess. He will tell you that he's not necessarily the best businessman for that, because what he wanted to do was just to make sure that there was a place for the music to be recorded that him and his peers were doing, because it was going to be lost. If he hadn't recorded it, nobody would have recorded it. So it seems like that's what I'm trying to kind of do right now, assist in the preservation of the music that is, going on right now, but with his concept of, whatever, from 50 years ago or 45 years ago, whenever he recorded the American Jazz Quintet. So assisting him, yeah, maybe so. Kinda.
And
he does most of the work.
And can you describe how he's influenced your life?
Very positively. I don't know what I would be doing.
Can we cut for 1 second? And,
sure.
When I ask you questions, if you could just repeat the question and the answer.
Okay.
So if I ask, like, if he's influenced your life, yes, he's influenced my life, ... Or Mr. Battiste or Harold. Or
that's why I'm bad at interviewing.
Right.
Because I'd rather just be more genuine.
Okay.
Just my response, because I'm just not good at a script.
Right.
But okay. It just sounds strange, because that wouldn't be, it's going to sound strange. People are going to look at me like, what the hell is he talking about?
It's
people that know me, you know what I mean?
It's just to contextualize the answer.
Yeah,
right?
I understand.
Basically. Yeah.
I understand. It just sounds a little redundant to me, I guess.
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
it's just a technique, though. That
okay.
we use. Yeah.
Well, we'll technique it up.
All right. So how has he influenced your life?
How has Harold Battiste influenced my life? All right. Is that the way I'm supposed to do?
No. I mean, you could just answer it like how Battiste has influenced my life, and then continue.
You want to do it like that? Cool.
Sure.
Gotcha. Take 3.
All right.
One more time.
All right. How has Harold Battiste influenced your life?
Okay, he's influenced my life in a lot of positive ways, I'll say. Decision making helps with the keep me out of trouble. In many ways. There's a lot of situations in which he gives me perspective. And perspective is good with someone who's lived a long life and had a lot of experiences, so that's the major thing he's helped me with.
And how has he influenced your music?
Oh, that's probably the greatest influence. Just being open and honest about what you're doing and why you're trying to do it. He would sit down in the office and allow me to fumble through and mess up a lot of songs that he had been playing forever and forever. And then, as I caught on and got a little better, he'd give me a little more information, make something else that was difficult, not so hard. So basically taught me the process on trying to communicate through music.
And can you think of some memorable stories involving your relationship with Mr. Battiste?
Tons. I mean, I had to think about something I wouldn't mind sharing. Because a lot of them are embarrassing stories about myself, and he would kind of laugh and be like, "Really, you do it? You think that?" And then he'd kind of straighten me out on something, Let me think. Man, you should have given me these questions. I would have been able to
Well,
answer
that
them
one
better.
sometimes it stumps people a little bit, you know. But the
That's a
stories
lot of stories, man.
the
That's 10
stories
years
always
worth of
good.
stuff.
I'll just try to think of one or two.
Here's one. I remember when I first wanted to reenact the Next Generation band, which is like 2000 area, 2000, 2001. We had a drummer. We went to college together. His name was Dylan Hicks, and he was a really good drummer. And we were playing one of his songs, One Days, which is also the good old days, but it has a lot of hits in the beginning. And I was sure that we were not doing them correctly, but the drummer wanted to do them a certain way, which wasn't what I thought was correct. So, you know, we were practicing at UNO, and I decided I would go down to ask Bat what he thought, thinking, of course, that, you know, he would pick my side because I was going by what the recording had. But I went in there, and me and Dylan went in there, and I presented my case, and Dylan presented his case, and he looked at us both and was like, why does it matter? Why don't you play it the way it's comfortable for you guys to, you know, do it together? It's not about necessarily who's right or wrong. It's about coming to consensus together to where you could, you know, resolve the conflict and everybody's happy. So that's one instance in which he helped me and another cat and everybody else that was there see that there's an alternative to yelling and screaming and wanting to fight about it. You know, you can just calmly resolve it.
Great. Any other stories you can think of?
Yeah, I mean, that would have been the one question I wish you would have given me, because I would have thought about some stuff that I wouldn't mind telling. See, that's the other problem. A lot of the stuff that me and him deal with is personal, so I don't, I'd be very weary.
To talk about it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, okay.
Knowing the type of cat he is, you know. He's
Right.
a very private kind of person.
Right. So, all right, we'll move on then.
Okay.
What do you think is the most lasting influence on New Orleans music in particular?
The actual preservation of it. When nobody else was recording what, as he calls, the second 50 years of jazz in New Orleans, that's what he was most concerned about. Because it seemed as if the first 50 years, you know, with Louis Armstrong and Bunk Johnson and Sidney Bechet and all of those guys were preserved pretty much, I mean, safely. But he recognized that, you know, there was going to be a group of history of especially these African American musicians in the lineage of their music that's going to be forgotten about, potentially. And he said, no way. So I believe that the idea of preserving culture will probably be Bat's longest legacy.
And the culmination of that is the Silver Book? I mean, it's a lot of things, but
one of them is definitely the Silver Book. I'd say the Silver Book musically, but then there's an autobiography that he's working on that will probably be out at the end of the year, and I believe that will be the largest comprehensive, you know, contribution, because it tells the story of how a person, you know, develops and progresses, and, you know, regular life trials and tribulations, you know, and in a musical context, how that, I guess basically how that process is seen through both music and just, you know, a person who doesn't do music, a doctor, or anybody can read it and say, wow, this is very interesting and, you know, beneficial even, just to have this kind of information out.
And so, I guess we kind of touched on this. Maybe it's a little redundant, but I had a question about talking about the importance of educators like Mr. Battiste in the lives of up-and-coming musicians. Like, what's the
I
role?
think that's a totally separate question.
Yeah. And,
Go ahead.
So what's the impact of mentors like Mr. Battiste on the lives of up-and-coming musicians?
Well, in particular, I've noticed that the last generation, there was a lot of black men that were put in jail. And there's various reasons in the society why that happened. And I think that having mentors like Harold Battiste, for me, was a monumental step in between when you make a bad decision and a good decision about your life. And Bat is the kind of person, along with, you know, other cats around here who do it, like Ellis, Marsalis, and Kid Jordan, and Clyde Kerr, and especially the elders. You know, they really have an integral part right now in showing the youth what the right direction is. So Bat definitely is a major part of that.
And just one last thing, is there anything you want to add or say directly to Mr. Battiste as a part of this tribute?
Just thank you. You know, I can speak for most people, but personally I would say, you know, I don't know where I would be without, you know, Bat's help and inspiration and understanding, and there's tons of adjectives that describe him. If you get to know him, that's what I would say. You know, you really get to understand the man better and know why people love him.
Great. Thank you so much.
Cool.
Appreciate it.